Now that both the NLDS and the ALDS are over with, the World Series is now set between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays. I think it's going to be a fun series regardless. I I'm hoping seven. I'm That would be my guess considering both teams just went seven in the championship series. Uh, Probably the biggest storylines coming into the World Series for both of these teams is this is the third time the Dodgers have made it since 2017. They made it in 17, 18, and this year. They've made it in the World Series 3 out of the past 4 years. Is this finally going to be the year? And you have your manager coming out and saying, "This is our year." You have Dave Roberts coming out on the field saying, "This is our year." Uh, right after they just clinched their spot to go to the World Series. Why would Dave Roberts say that? All I think that's going to do is give an underrated Tampa Bay team, an underappreciated Tampa Bay team that probably not a lot of people really care about. That's bulletin board material. We're gonna stick that right up there and say, hey, these guys over there in LA think we're pushovers. They think we're bums. They think we're gonna get. They think they can sweep us. So I think first game, maybe it's first two games, Tampa Bay's gonna come out and hopefully show, hey, we're no pushovers. Whether that's scoring 5 runs and shutting out that highly paid uh, Dodgers team, or having a pitching duel and somehow snaking their way out of it. Because what I've from the few games I watched of the Rays in the championship series, relatively, if the game was close, Tampa was going to win it. Tampa Bay has the pitching. They have the pitching that I don't think the Dodgers do. Urias has stepped up majorly in this postseason. He leads out of all the postseason teams. He leads them in wins with 4. He has been a decent guy out of the pen when you need him to. He's a good starter. This is a breakout performance for Urias in the postseason, and that helps when you have, which is the other point, the other main talking point in this World Series is Kershaw going to do something in the playoffs? Is he finally going to step up and show, hey, I'm not a bum in these playoffs? You know, I'm not this guy that's just going to be really good in the regular season and then average below average in the postseason. Clayton Kershaw is probably the best pitcher probably the best pitcher of the past decade. Probably. And what has he done in the postseason? What has he done in the World Series? Not a lot, really. And that's a shame because like I said, he's one of the best pitchers in the past decade. He's one of the best Dodger pitchers ever. He just doesn't have the ring to back it up. And I think for Tampa, probably the biggest talking points going into this one is, A, this is the second time they made it to the World Series since 2008. B, Randy Arozarena is coming out on fire. This kid is a stud in this postseason, and I hope he maintains it. As a fan of the team that traded him away, I hope Arozarena and the Rays keep doing what they did against the Astros, do what they did against the I'm not blanking on who they played in the division series. The Yankees, there we go. God, what the fuck? Do what they did against the Yankees. Do what they did against the Astros. Whether or not they win, whether or not if they're clean wins or dirty wins, as in the pitching wasn't good, the hitting wasn't great, clutch hitting, stuff like that. If they can just keep that Dodgers offense in check, especially with the way Seager batted in the championship series, with the way Bellinger batted at the end of the series, which propelled the Dodgers to move on to the World Series with the go-ahead homer that won it in the, I think, 7th or 5th. I think it was the 7th. But no, other than that, with Tampa, I think for edges, I think the best bet is the Dodgers. I think most people are going to say the Dodgers. They got the hitting, they don't have the pitching. I honestly don't believe they have the pitching still. I think Tampa does. Even though you have guys that aren't well-rounded, aren't well-known names. Nick Anderson, he started stepping up in the regular season, roughly at the end, and then did well in the postseason. Couple bad outings, but nothing bad. Peter Fairbanks, Diego Castillo, Jose Alvarado. You have these guys that aren't well-known names, but they're good pitchers. Then you have starters like Snell, who's been hit a couple times. You have, or it's been hit hard against the Astros specifically. You have Tyler Glasnow, who has performed immensely well in these playoffs for the Rays. I mean, hell, you had Nick Anderson as, I believe, an opener in one game against the Astros. I mean, Nick Anderson has pitched well, pitched a lot of innings for a closer in these playoffs. And that's also another thing is how tired are these bullpen arms, considering Urias has pitched a lot for the Dodgers. Anderson, Fairbanks has pitched a decent amount for the Rays. Really, it's just out of the bullpen who's going to get tired most. And for the Dodgers, is Dave Roberts going to mismanage the bullpen? That is going to be a very keen watch in the first, throughout the entire series, is how is Roberts going to manage the pen? Is he going to manage it well? Is he going to overmanage it, undermanage it? But no, I think with this World Series, whoever wins it, there's not going to be an asterisk next to it, even though we only played 60 games of a regular season. I think that's not right. But my bet's going to be the Rays. I think it's going to be the Rays in probably 7. I would pick the Rays in 7. I think the pitching of the Rays is going to last longer than the Dodgers. I don't think their manager is going to overmanage or mismanage the bullpen as badly as Dave Roberts will. And I think the Rays might be more motivated to win it. I mean, they've never won a World Series. I wasn't even a thought the last time the Dodgers won one. I think I was maybe a year old when the freaking Rays were the Devil Rays were a team, when they were first brought in as an expansion team. But no, I think the Rays in 7. I think the Rays are the better postseason team, because in the postseason you need timely pitching. That's what the Rays have. The Rays have the guys that can come in here in very stressful situations. Peter Fairbanks in, I think, game 2 went in there with a bases loaded jam and got out of it. Urias has done the same thing with the Dodgers as well. I just think the Rays in 7. And with the Rays hitting, Arozarena has been really well. Brasso has had his moment, hitting the go-ahead homer off of Aroldis Chapman in Game 5. I mean, Manny Margot has done really well in this postseason. Brandon Lau did well in the did well in the regular season, kind of sliding off just a little bit. Austin Meadows, who struggled and is struggling. G-Man Choi, who has hit the ball pretty well. Willie Adames, who, like I said, or Adames is more of a hitting or a defensive shortstop that can produce you timely hitting. Zanino, Wendell, and Kiermaier. I mean, how are you going to... That defense is that lineup is very defensive oriented, even when you have Meadows in the DH. I mean, if you look at the Dodgers, I mean, Corey Seager performed immensely well. Betts has pedestrian numbers in the postseason with the Red Sox and a little bit through the game so far with the Dodgers. I mean, Kike Hernandez, AJ Pollock, Chris Taylor. I think this is going to be a very interesting World Series. I think it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. And it's going to be intense. I think, even though it's at a neutral ballpark in Arlington, there will be some fans there, so we can get at least a modicum of what it would feel like in a normal year. And I think that whoever wins this World Series, whether it be Tampa Bay or whether it be the LA Dodgers, I think whatever team wins is probably the better team. Whether or not if there were mismanagements by the managers of whatever team. But just to reiterate my prediction, I'm probably going Rays in 7. I'll pick the Tampa Bay Rays in 7 to beat the Dodgers. But that's it. I hope this playoffs have played really well. Playoffs were really entertaining. I don't want there to be expanded playoffs though. So I hope they go back to that next year. I hope this was just a one-time thing. But anyway, that's it. If you guys like the video, press the like button, subscribe down below. That would be very well appreciated. Share this video with all your friends and buddies, and I'll see you in the next video.